the thing that was quite intriguing about writing the story of computing was that it was not the story of computers. And there have been several books out there about computers and the history of computers, but I think computing is a bit bigger and it's a bit more interesting than that, and that's what intrigued me about it. Stories of computers can be a bit dull, frankly. They can be stories about sort of engineering or what's in a sort of rather boring looking rectangular steel box, and I thought that actually the story of computing, which is what goes on inside the box, what makes a machine into something that can do all these amazing things, that's much more intriguing than the sort of how we went from very large boxes to very small ones. I mean, that's part of the story. I don't want to diminish the engineering achievements, but it seemed that the bigger, broader picture could be much more fun. Well, I'd known that some of the story of computing and the way that people had thought about use of machines to help with problem solving, if you like, was a very ancient one. I think while I sort of vaguely knew that as a concept, what was quite fun was actually discovering how early in history people had actually used machinery to help with all sorts of problem solving, not just, if you like, arithmetical problems, not just calculations, but they were doing all sorts of other things. And the most obvious example, I mean, we all confront them every day. Everybody's got a clock in their house, and nobody thinks of a clock as being a computer. But the clock doesn't measure the time. What the clock does is it computes the time for you, and it gives you its idea of what the time is, which is why clocks run fast and clocks run slow. And I'd never thought of clocks as being computers before I started realizing that what computing is about. It's about problem solving. It's about finding if you like, a synthetic and artificial way of trying to get to a particular solution, and you know, working out what time it is. You can look at the sun, which will tell you the exact thing, but that's very complicated to measure. Or you can have a clock that will calculate it for you. It might get it slightly wrong, but it's very clever. And I thought, my goodness, we've been doing computing for centuries. Just every village has a clock, and it's got a computer in the middle of the village. I never thought about it that way before. It's really interesting.